My next guest is Jeannie Patel Thompson, an internationally recognized expert on natural healing for digestive diseases. She has healed herself from widespread Crohn's disease and has remained drug and surgery free for over 20 years. Jeannie has been giving people hope and vision for how they can heal their Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, and irritable bowel syndrome using entirely natural methods. Her books on natural healing for digestive diseases has sold worldwide in over 60 countries. And today, she is going to talk to us about this amazing product that she has called Absorb Plus. It's great to have you with us today, Jeannie. Thank you for having this conversation with me.
You're welcome. Pleasure.
I know it's a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure to talk to your perky little self.
It's always a pleasure, but for no one will know this. We are best buddies. And so there's quite a familiarity here between the two of us. But I think what is so lovely is I remember I was thinking about Absorb Plus. My tub Absorb, look at this. It's all like, got little marks on it, drips, because I love it so much.
Well used.
It's well used. I remember testing a few flavors for you and the protocol. And I think this is important to start off with because I've watched you and I've known you for a while and I've watched certain things, you create certain things. And it is so amazing to me, the intention that you put into whatever the product is that you're making. How did you do that with Absorb Plus? What was the driver for you?
Well, the driver for me almost always comes from something that I need myself that doesn't exist. So I formulate for myself first. And because I'm the pickiest bugger in the universe, if I like it.
No.
If I like it, odds are other people will too.
Can we talk about fabric and clothing for a second? No, let's not. That's another story.
Exactly. So with Absorb Plus, I had been, I had needed it myself to heal from an intestinal hemorrhage where I dropped to 99 pounds. I'm 125. And my albumin, my protein levels were completely bottomed out. My hemoglobin was, like someone should be dead by now. And I used so what I did at that time, Absorb Plus didn't exist. So they had the pharmaceutical type of elemental diet products. And I tried those and I read the ingredient list and I said, you've got to be joking me. Like, this is so toxic. I wouldn't give it to my dog. Like, why would I drink this myself? And I said, the amount of oil that they've put in here is going to give you intestinal spasming. It's probably going to start you bleeding again. So I gave a can to my perfectly healthy husband who's never had a bowel issue in his life. And I said, drink this. And within 20 minutes, he was diarrheaing and cramping on the toilet. And I said, yeah, if that's what it does to a healthy person, why would you give this to someone who's already in a terrible state? So they had sent, because Medicare covered an entire truckload of cases of this stuff. And I sent it all back and I went to a couple of the really top local health pharmacies and I went into the science behind the elemental diet and I basically devised my own, but using healthy ingredients. So I would mix together 7, 8, 9 things a day and I'd mix them into shakes and I brought myself back to a healthy weight working out at the gym 3 times a week in 6 weeks' time. So it's an incredible healing tool. And then the other thing was, if I drank those hospital pharmaceutical products, they keep people alive, but people can't gain weight on them. The doctor even told me that. He says, this isn't going to solve your malnutrition, but it'll at least keep you going.
You were malnutritioned at that point?
Yes, severely. So he said, at least you won't get more malnutrition. At least you won't, it'll keep you alive. But the formula that I devised actually puts muscle on your frame, like not just fat. You're not just going to gain a bunch of gross weight, you're going to gain muscle with a healthy layer of fat.
And how does that happen? Because I'm, you know, when you read it, it says, you know, it maintain immune function and formation of collagen tissue, red blood cells, development of maintenance of bones, teeth, cartilage, gums, connective tissue, and proper muscle and liver function. And I'm thinking to myself, how does that happen? How do you just devise that? It's like you were led by something greater than you to make this product.
Oh, always. I mean, that's that's it. Like, so when I go and I did my research for how to devise an elemental product, what guides me where to click and when?
Yeah, that's
and
it.
I've had doctors ask me that. They've said, you know, like it's not like we don't know the substances you work with, but what I want to know is how do you come up with the idea to put this together with this, which nobody's ever done before, and know that
Jeannie,
it's going to have.
You are not a doctor.
No, I have no health designation whatsoever.
You're not a scientist. You're not.
Nothing.
Right.
I have a bachelor's in English and sociology.
Oh, that contributes greatly.
Yeah, exactly. And I said, to be honest, I said, it's a spiritual process.
Wow.
I go on to Google and I hear click there. Okay. And then I read it, and then I get like, I guess if someone's doing an intuitive reading for someone and they would, you know, get like a real sense, like a ding about something. I get that about information on the internet. Wow. So it's like something pulls my focus there. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. And when I'm researching this stuff, I drop into this zone. Like I can disappear for 6 to 8 hours at a stretch. I don't come out. I don't come up for air. I'm just kind of like, I'm down, and it's like I'm following tunnels, and this relates there and this relates there. And my brain is kind of just putting it all together. Click here, click there, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, I'll be like, okay, this thing that I saw in hour 2, this thing in hour 7, that's the alchemy. Put them together. And I know for some reason, because I think I'm being guided and I'm being supported and held through the process, the link up is made and I go, what? Oh my God, what if? And then that's when, and now I'm off to the races, and I kind of go that way.
When you started, you had 9 ingredients, or what was like, it wasn't all of this?
No. And so that's the first thing I gave to my readers. I go, here's how you make your own healthy shakes. And they were like, could you just formulate can we just buy this ready to go somewhere? And I was like, oh, okay. I'll find a company to work with. I'll formulate it and, you know, make that available to you guys. And that's how I started formulating health products for other people to use.
Well, and explain to me the elemental aspect of it. So I remember our son Tate, when he was, I think, Jeannie, he was in grade 3 or 2, when I reached out to you and said, look, you know, Tate is really not well. And he'd been losing weight, complaining of pain in his stomach. We weren't sure what was going on. And you said, you know what, you got to feed him this stuff with some raw milk. And we did. And he put on weight. Like he literally just, the stomach pain went away. He put on weight. It's fascinating to me.
Well, the easiest way for people to understand it is to understand the word pre-digested is to say it's like breast milk. Now you've seen how fast a baby gains weight, and it's healthy weight. It's muscle. Right? It's not just fat.
No.
So that's what we mean is that, so in that way, yes, it's a highly processed product, because in order to take a milk protein and break it down into a couple of units, right, and remove the lactose and remove the casein, which is the component in milk most people are allergic to, that requires a lot of processing. So it's not, you know, I don't view it as, it's not a whole food. Like you're not using it to replace your juicing or to, you know, and, you know, maybe when your life is not so stressful and so busy, you're not going to need it at all. And you can just get what you need from whole foods. And maybe we can start growing vegetables in our own garden so that the enzymes we're eating are live. And then for sure, we're not going to need it. So there's all these considerations that come into play when you look at, well, is this product right for me, or how do I use it? So when you take someone like a kid who's a very picky eater or has a lot of food intolerances, they're just not going to be able to gain weight, healthy weight, and grow, because that's the other thing. If your kid's not growing and they miss their hormonal growth cycle, a lot of the time you can't get that back.
Right.
So it's super important, the timing of it, to make that nutrition available in a form that's absorbed into the bloodstream within 20 minutes.
Yes.
Because like breast milk, it's pre-digested. And so like breast milk, people who go on Absorb Plus exclusively, their stool becomes greatly reduced in volume and kind of liquidy. Because think of a breastfed baby.
Like baby poo.
Exactly. And so people are like, oh my God, it's giving me diarrhea. No, it's not.
No.
Diarrhea means there's nutrient loss, means everything's going through your system too fast and it's coming out the other end. This is just the nature of the food source. You're basically drinking breast milk.
Wow.
So that's why it can restore people back. And we have a vegan version. We've just gone into final round of labels and stuff. We're going to be going into production with that soon. And so the protein source for that is organic rice that has been sprouted and fermented. So that way it unlocks the nutrients, makes them much more highly bioavailable.
Because sprouting and fermenting unlock the nutrients.
Yes.
Sprouted and they get bread or whatever is better for someone, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So again, you wind up, even though the vegetable source proteins are usually much less bioavailable, this kind of helps to narrow the gap by sprouting and fermenting it. So where elemental diets came from is NASA developed them originally, because they were sending astronauts into space and they're like, okay, we're in an enclosed rocket for a very long period of time. How can we nourish these astronauts properly, but reduce the fecal matter? Because we don't have room to store that much poo.
Right.
So that's where elemental diets came into usage.
And then you're just trying to heal yourself. You're working through this process. You're online and you're beginning to put these pieces together. And how many years did it take to perfect, or did you perfect the product? How did you do that?
So when I first began mixing stuff up for myself, and then of course over that 6-week period, I was drinking 8 to 9 shakes a day. So I was testing the whole time. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh yeah. That's how I gained that much weight in only 6 weeks. I was having a shake every hour to hour and a half.
But you were not eating other food, were you?
No, exclusively shake.
Because your intestine was in crisis.
If I had one bite of regular food, I would start hemorrhaging again. Yeah, it was that bad. So those wounds, and of course I was doing other things. I was doing implant herbal enemas with herbs to actually heal the mucosal lining and stop the bleeding. Lying down horizontal, get gravity off, right? Just like with a nosebleed, you put your head back because you want to take the pull of gravity off the blood flow. So I was doing all of those things at the same time.
And how many kids did you have at this time?
At that time, luckily, I had none. Yeah, otherwise somebody would have been I mean, exactly.
But when you were perfecting the product, you did have children.
Yes. Yeah, I did. And flavoring is important too, because a lot of children use this product.
Yes.
So what we do with the flavoring, like it took me 6 months just to get the flavoring to the point where I said, and also if let's say you're in an R&D department at a pharmaceutical, you're formulating a product. You yourself are not drinking that product 8 times a day for 6 weeks.
Right.
So you have no idea in terms of actually what that product needs to do to be consumed at that pace, at that intensity.
Which is what you do with all your products. You test the products.
As you know, being one of
the last conversation, I think the last conversation was like, my bum is on fire. Okay, stop. We're good. All right.
Actually, though, you know what? Your feedback, I sent it to the manufacturer of that product, and they're actually going to change the packaging directions.
Okay, I make a difference. This is amazing.
Yeah.
My feedback was quite hilarious, wasn't it?
Yeah. And that's what I do, right? Everything gets tested on myself first. And like I'm formulating some atomic sized nano minerals. So I'll take it at 16 times the recommended dosage because I want to know if I go to a toxic level on this, what's the worst that's going to happen?
Right.
And that's my way of testing for safety.
Right.
Before I give it
to me, and if I grow like something, then you're like, okay.
No. Then I give it to my husband.
Right.
Then I give it to my kids. Then I give it to you.
Then she gives it to me. At least there's a little bit of a buffer there.
Exactly.
I remember tasting some of the flavors for Absorb Plus. I believe it was strawberry.
Yeah.
And that is what is so intriguing to me, is that you and I have very similar taste in the sense that, well, we're picky. And you say, taste this, taste that. And it's not very often that you find somebody that puts that much time and energy, and like you just were mentioning, actually intakes the product.
Yeah.
Because how else are you going to hold a standard then? If it's not a Genie standard, then whose standard is it?
Exactly. And the other reason I test on myself, and I don't sell anything in my shop that I have not tested on, even if it's a product I didn't formulate,
right,
I've used it, is because I can feel for the energetics of a substance.
Sure.
So there's been things that people have given me and I'm like, oh, that looks really good to my brain.
Right.
And my body will not let me take it. I've had stuff sit in my fridge and I'm like, I really should test that. I really should test that. But every time I go to reach it, my body's like, no. So I leave it alone. And then it can be 6 months later. It can be years later. The research comes out about why that was not a good idea. But my body knows. So that's another reason why I make sure to test stuff on myself and then my family, because my kids are really tuned in. My husband's really tuned in. You're really tuned in.
Yeah.
Like I give it to people who have that ability to feel beyond. And when my kids and my husband test stuff, they don't even know what's in it. They don't care, but they'll go, I don't like that, or I don't want to take that, that hardly ever happens because it has to get through me first.
Right. But
so if the kids say I don't want it, it's usually because they don't need it. And their body tells them, I don't need this at all. So, okay, I'll take one, but I can't be a good tester. Okay, no problem.
What happens have you had a lot of people not want Absorb Plus?
The people who don't want it, it's usually based on theoretical ideas.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you know how people get really attached to their food religion or their food philosophy?
Yes.
Okay. So that happens throughout everything. So we would have, for example, we had this one woman, she sticks in my mind because it was so tragic. And she'd had a severe case of Crohn's. She was very malnutritioned, in and out of the hospital. But she wouldn't take Absorb Plus because it contained maltodextrin, which is a carbohydrate. And she says, I can't have any carbs. And I said, well, you can't gain weight. You don't need, granted, carbs are sugars. They feed bad bacteria and yeast, but they also work synergistically with protein and other vitamins and minerals. Like they're part of an uptake, a nutritional uptake system that your body requires, especially if you're trying to gain healthy weight. If you just eat protein, because people are, I only need protein to gain muscle. Actually, you don't. Yes, muscles are composed of protein, but that's not the full pathway. So, but she was, and I said, listen, the candida issue, the bad bacteria issue, we have protocols to address that. And healing occurs in layers. The most important thing is to not be malnutritioned. Until you come out of malnutrition, your body has no resources or energy to heal you. And your body is the one that does all the healing. It's not these substances that heal us. substances are like the tools.
Sure.
But she was so rigid on this no carbs thing. She said, well, I'm just gonna, and I said, well, then just take protein powder. Like
Right.
that would be your equivalent.
Right.
You know, and anyway, she died.
Ugh.
So it's like, okay, well, you can have a candida bad bacteria issue that you can then heal using wild oregano oil and high dose therapeutic probiotics, or you can die. But people get locked into their things, and they get locked into their food religions, and they're not, you know, just like a fundamental Muslim or fundamental Christian. It's like this. There's nothing else coming in or out of that.
Right. But when I look at the ingredients here, I mean, there's nothing in here that, you know, is, in my view, would lock you into anything. It's just, it reads well, right? The product doesn't have anything that is going to harm you.
But you're not afraid of carbohydrates.
No, I'm not.
That's the key distinction.
It is the key distinction. So this wouldn't be for somebody afraid of carbohydrates.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like someone who's like, no, I'm exclusively keto, paleo, you know, whatever, vegetarian, vegan, and I won't blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Okay, well, but then we have other people too who are like, well, I'm a vegan, but I'm going to use this because I realize I can't heal without it. And then once I'm healed, I'm going to go back to being a vegan. Awesome. That's, and now we're coming out with a vegan version. So that, but that process took years, right? It took a long time.
For our family, I mean, every morning, 4 of us drink this product every single morning. Every single morning we drink Absorb Plus. And this morning, Saley said, so I normally don't do this. I was in the store. I bought her Eggo waffles. I know. And I said, the only way you're going to eat an Eggo waffle for breakfast. And she stopped me. She was, I know. I got to have Auntie Jeannie's shake. But what's interesting is that the kids take it in their milk, their raw milk, and they're good. Like Tate does not feel good in the morning. When he gets up in the morning, he doesn't feel well. And toast or cereal or something just makes him feel like, I feel like I'm going to vomit. Like it's so gross. So he won't do celery juice. That's just the taste isn't right.
Yeah.
But he will absolutely do Absorb Plus. And I got him to do it with a little bit of chocolate sauce in it.
Yeah.
At first, because I didn't care. I just wanted him to feel, I wanted to feel like I needed to know he was going to be eating something good.
Yeah.
In the morning. I needed him to know that. And anyway, that's what he's done. So it's interesting when they make it because they put the little whisk ball into the drink, and I've said not to blend it. And that is because, why do you not blend Absorb Plus?
You can blend it if you blend it on low speed for no more than 10 seconds. And that's low speed on the blender, because high speed shears the walls off like the molecules. So it can denature your protein a little bit. At high speed, it can heat the ingredients. So then you're getting a bit of denaturing in your vitamins, and your amino acids.
Can you add in the Natren probiotics into it?
You can, but again, same thing. The Natren probiotics cannot be put in the blender at all. So if you want to do that, you blend it and then you hand mix your probiotics into a paste and then shake it. But if you're putting them in your blender bottle with the little shaker ball,
that's what we're doing. Yeah,
you can put your probiotics and your Absorb Plus all together, shake it up, because that's not a high enough speed to damage any of the cell walls.
And right. And then you know that everybody's getting what they need, right?
Yeah.
And it's whole. It's like a whole vitamin or whatever you'd say.
Yes. Well, and that's I think the other reason why you feel so good, because So two things. So the vitamin and mineral blends, it contains the trace minerals as well,
Right.
which are not usually, they've disappeared from our soil.
Right.
So trace minerals are something that 0.02 micrograms changes your life.
Wow.
It's one of these deficiencies that can lead to, you know, deformities. But if you have just 0.02 milligrams, you're awesome. So I think that's another reason the shake makes such a difference. The second reason is I think I am the only I'm certainly the only formulator I've ever talked to who goes to the menu. So let's say I'm ordering, you know, vitamin D3.
Okay.
I will go to the raw, not just to the manufacturer, to the raw material supplier, and I will say, I need your lab sheets that show me the flow process of your extraction through to final product for this substance.
Wow.
Yeah, because this is what a lot of people, obviously, how's a layperson going to know this? You can end up with the same product at the end. This product has been extracted using alcohol, propylene glycol, formaldehyde, and wind up at the same place. This product has gone through natural fermentation, a water distillation process, and wind up at, now, just intuitively, which
That's
substance?
Well, I hear formaldehyde and I'm running.
So even though there's no formaldehyde left in that final product, now we're looking at homeopathics and the energetics.
That's exactly it.
There's no physical detection of formaldehyde or, you know, antifreeze or whatever left in that, but you and I know, anybody who's intuitive understands the energetics of those substances are still present. So,
and I think that's a really important point that you make, Jeannie, that and I've known with your blog and your website and the products, you're big on feel into it. Feel this product. Does it feel right? Because the body is the densest part of, you know, our soul, and it's the densest part, and it holds, if you hold something in your hand, you can really tell if it's good or if it's not good.
Yeah, exactly.
Or how many you need to have. Sometimes if you hold it, you go, oh, I need 3 of those.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And sometimes it's a really hard choice. Like, you know, things happen. There's a whole world happening in manufacturing that nobody's talking about. And, you know, it's really frightening if you understood everything that's going on legally behind the scenes, because number one, nobody's checking. Number two, there's no testing and quality control procedure. Number three, suppliers are lying to manufacturers. Manufacturers are lying to their clients. Like, there's a whole level of fraud going on underneath the hood. And sometimes the whole market changes. Like, I'll give you an example. Amino acids. It used to be you could get your amino acids from Japan. Now, you and I have been to Japan. I lived there for 2 years. You understand the Japanese people culturally are meticulous.
Right.
And they have high integrity. So when the Japanese were producing amino acids, everything was through natural fermentation. Most of that production moved to China. Right?
Okay.
Exactly. Say no more. So now one of the problems is you can't get natural source L-glycine anymore. You can only get glycine. You can only get a synthesized compound.
So where they L in front of it means what?
Natural source. So if you look at the amino acid profile in Absorb Plus.
Right, I did.
Everyone except for glycine.
Exactly. Has an L in front of it.
So that's where I have to make a choice. I go, do I remove glycine from this blend, or do I use, and that's an energetic choice.
Wow.
Do I remove it or do I use it? What does my body say about that? Right? And my body says it's better to, so again, now we're back to the carb, no carb food religion.
Okay.
Is it better to have it, even though it's not ideal, than to go without? Well, now you're dead. Now, that's extreme example, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I weigh up.
Yeah.
And I go, so again, I go through and I get flow charts from 5 different glycine suppliers. How are you getting your synthesized glycine?
Right.
These ones I won't touch.
And they
This
need to
one,
divulge that information to you, Jeannie?
only upon request, and some of them won't. If they won't divulge it, I won't use
then
them.
you're not using them.
Yeah, but most of them, and then, so I go a step beyond that too. I have a guy on the ground in China, local Chinese guy, and I go call up this manufacturer. They don't tell them, he doesn't tell them he's working for me.
Sure.
I go, get me this information. And he picks up the phone.
Oh.
Now I'm into a whole other level, and he understands how to work the system. He understands how to talk to them.
Interesting.
So, because again, I have this little part of my intuitive process. I have this little radar, and it just pings me. It's like, that's all I can describe it. It's like, something's not right. Something's not right.
You also know the consequence of not listening to the ping.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
And neither one of us want that. Neither one of us want the ramification of not listening to that inner voice, or that voice that you know to be true that guides you.
Yes, exactly.
You also mentioned that it's cold extracted, the whey protein.
The protein. Mm-hmm.
And the difference between that and why that?
Because heat denatures proteins. So again, and it also denatures some of the amino acids, that because when you consume a whey protein isolate, I think there's 14 amino acids that are naturally part of that substance. So maybe your isolate is okay, but 5 out of your amino acids are now significantly denatured.
Right.
So when it's cold process extraction, and that's why we tell you not to put it in the blender. We don't want you to shear the cell walls. We don't want you to heat it from the action of the blender.
Okay. And isolate.
Isolate means it's very different from products where it'll say concentrate.
Exactly. And before I was buying the Absorb Plus, I was using, and I remember you telling me, don't do concentrate, do isolate. And
yes.
And I never could remember the reason why.
The reason why is because milk is actually composed of a number of different proteins. And the one protein that most people, when they tell you I'm allergic to milk, they're almost always allergic to casein. It's one of the proteins. Yes. So whey is usually okay. Casein is the problem. And so this is another ridiculousness. When I first started formulating this over 20 years ago, the pharmaceutical products, one of them had casein as its protein source. I was like, that's how redonkulous this can get. So anyway, isolate means the casein and a few other of the highly allergenic proteins have been removed. And it's just whey with some free-form amino acids. And then with Absorb Plus, our protein source, we go a step further. We also remove the lactose because again, that's a component that most people with dairy allergies cannot tolerate.
Right. And then of course it's also gluten-free.
Yes. Depending on the country you're in, because countries have different gluten-free labeling requirements.
They do?
Yeah. And some of them, it's like some of them required the testing to be done at different stages. So that hugely affects the cost. Like some of them want you to test every single raw ingredient. So in Absorb Plus, there's 42.
Yes.
And then they want you to test again after you've bottled it. So you're having 43 gluten-free. Now, how much do I have to charge for the products? $100 a tub to pay for all that testing? So then in that case, what we'll do for that market is we will have our test done on our finished product. Because obviously if it's not in the finished product, probably not in the raw ingredients.
Right.
It's not there, right? So we'll go, well, we did finished product testing. This was the result, but we can't put it on the label. We can't officially because of the laws. And then people make their choice.
Very interesting. And the people that are your readers, you call them your readers. Mm-hmm. So that they're following your website, they're following your blog, they're following your video blogs, your books, your 16 books?
17. Because I chunk down into real specifics. Because someone who just has rectal spasm, doesn't need all of this. So I'll pull out that and make that like just an ebook. But my big books, there's four big ones.
4 big ones. And in this product is great for people who need to they need to take a break? That's what we've noticed in our house. It's like we need to take a break from food. Maybe 2 meals. You're just sort of, you're drinking it because it feels so good in your stomach, in your gut, and in your body. And then you maybe eat something light, but that might be because you're coming off of the flu but your people that are taking this have like some very extreme health issues.
Yeah, they have Crohn's, they have colitis, they have diverticulitis, they have severe IBS. So those people, they're either using it exclusively as an elemental diet, is what it's called. And people with SIBO, this is in the last few years, it's really come out as this gold standard treatment for SIBO, which is small intestine bacterial overgrowth. So people will, in that case, they'll just do exclusive elemental for 2 weeks.
Right.
But for someone with advanced Crohn's or colitis, where you have active bleeding, you're going to be on it exclusively for 6 weeks. So all you have is Absorb Plus. You have bone broths. I have a recipe for mushroom broth, because you know how mushroom extracts have become people have understood there's incredible immune compounds in mushrooms.
Yes.
So I teach people how to make that into a broth that they take. So because when you're consuming it exclusively, you need to drink at least 6 to 7 shakes a day. Well, if it's sweet, sweet, sweet all day, you're going to hit taste fatigue. You can't do it.
Right.
But if you have a shake and a cup of broth, and a shake and a cup of broth, and meanwhile, the bone broths are rebuilding the mucosal lining of the intestine.
Yes.
So the bone broths and the mushroom broths for the immune system, and the vegetable broths, again, and if people are only vegetarian or vegan, they just do the mushroom and the vegetable broths.
Right.
Those are an entire level of micronutrient healing on their own. But the reason I love the bone broths is the gelatin. And gelatin has been extensively studied in France. Like people during the wartime existed on gelatin. Like all they could find were bones. They couldn't get meat. They couldn't get fresh vegetables.
But you're getting the marrow. You're getting it's quite amazing. The bone broths they're so nutritious.
Yeah. And that's thankfully something that's also come to the public attention in the last, 5 to 7 years. I'd say it's really come out. But we've been working with this stuff for 20 years now. So we have a long history, and we have hundreds and thousands of people with their feedback of, how this works and how's the best way to do it, and, how they use it.
Well, and that's something that I also appreciate about you is that you love feedback. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't appreciate.
I know.
They're like, it's like, you've wounded my soul.
And it's like that.
How am I going to be better if I don't know?
And really, I treat feedback like gold. And we once had this guy, he wrote an entire page of what was wrong with the way we operated.
Right.
We looked at every single one of his points, and we added copy to our website. We made 3 policy changes, because for someone to take that amount of time, he really had gone through our stuff, and we were like, we don't go, who's this guy? Like, does he know how many people we help? No.
Off you go. Yeah.
We're like, this is gold. Thank you so much. And we wrote back to him and we said, thank you so much. These are the changes we've implemented based on what you said, because you're absolutely right. And so we change things and we make it better, and we make it, because he's one person out of 100,000 customers. Who cares? He took the time. He has valid points. You can always get better.
Well, and that's why this product, that's why it feels so good. It's like, you're not skipping a step. You're not missing something, all the way down the line, right to the feedback of the customer. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes that happens where they just, the person just goes, I remember one person, I wrote them and I said, this isn't great. And they said, well, we have 3 mouths to feed. So stop buying our product then and but thank you for your referrals. And I was like, how does 3 mouths to feed make any difference? Because like, right? It was so weird, but it was just so offensive. They were so offended. And I just thought, wouldn't you want to know that the product that you are selling is actually off, that the smell is off, and it's different from the one that I just purchased?
Yeah.
2 different things, right?
And we had that happen for one of the runs. And this is the great thing. Our customers have a direct pipeline into us. Right. And they were like, this doesn't smell the same. This doesn't taste the same.
Wow.
So we immediately pulled it in, did a thing. We were like, they're right. Something's changed with the whey protein. So we went back through the chain, through the manufacturer, through to the raw supplier. I had a phone call with their 2 top scientists going, what could possibly have changed? Because it's exactly the same product with exactly the same specs.
Right.
Well, turns out when they spray the sunflower lecithin, which is, you have to add stuff to help it flow or it clogs the machines and then you can't blend or package it. So sunflower lecithin is something that helps it flow more easily. Sure. And they said, we have a range that we spray at from 0.7 to 1.2. And they go, so we're going to pull your lot and test it. Well, that lot was up at 1.2, which is more lecithin than we'd ever had. And I said, well, why are you using sunflower oil? Sunflower oil degrades. Like it shouldn't, like I keep my sunflower oil in the fridge and they're like, oh. And I go, why aren't you using coconut oil? Like, coconut oil is completely stable at room temperature. They're taking notes. They're like,
okay.
As soon as coconut oil lecithin becomes available, now this is a humongous agricultural supply company. Like we're talking billions of dollars worldwide. They're writing it down. They're like, as soon as coconut lecithin, I go, yeah. And you know what? You're such a big purchaser. Why don't you go to your lecithin supplier and say, we want a coconut oil lecithin, develop it for us. Like so even within the manufacturing world, like let's get more proactive. Let's start saying like once our purchasing gets big enough that someone has to listen to us. And that's my goal for the whey in Absorb Plus. As soon as I get big enough that somebody has to listen to me, I'm going to say, I need humane whey. And so I'm not talking just grass-fed. I'm talking that calf gets left with its mother for at least 6 months. That's humane whey. Don't rip the babies away at birth so humans can have the milk. Right. That's inhumane. So I'm getting close to, we're just about to launch in Australia, and that I think is going to push me up to where people are like, and then I can, not just to threaten, but to say, listen, this is what I want. I don't care how much more it costs. Yeah. Get me a dairy that can supply the whey in this form. Right. Because I believe that you can do your campaigning and your picketing and your petitioning sites. When you're talking billions of dollars of industry worldwide, you're not going to make a dent. Where you can make a dent is if you speak with your money. Yes. So I'll say, I'm willing to pay what this costs. Find me. And you know what? If you don't know of a dairy, I found 2 dairies that produce their butter and their milk that way. Let's go talk to them. Let's get them set up as the suppliers for the Absorb Plus whey. I'll pay whatever extra it costs to leave that calf with its mom. And then guess what's going to happen in the industry? People are going to see humane whey. It's going to become you remember how grass-fed was like, nobody had grass-fed whey. It was all factory farmed.
That's right.
Well, now became the buzzword.
Somebody said,
then everybody wants it.
Do it. You're going to get me grass-fed. And you're saying, yeah, and you're going to get me humane.
Yeah.
Because let's talk about where you've expanded to before we go. So you're in North America, you're launching in Australia?
We are going to be launching in the next, we're actually in production. The production run has started. It takes 12 weeks to produce this product. Okay. So it's already in production. And then, we have a partner in Australia that we've been working with. Yes. He has got he's basically got the equivalent of an FDA drug certification for the product. So he can make a disease claim right on the label, and they can sell it to doctors' clinics and hospitals. So that will take the product into a whole new
So
realm of
good.
accessibility. Yeah. So that's launching this year. And then we've also just got our import certificate through with our UK partner. So just finalize the labels. We'll be moving into production on his product.
Yeah.
And, you know, for each market, you have to change things
Sure.
because the same forms of the vitamins and minerals are not allowed in Australia, the UK, Canada, the US. Like the tub you have there is the Canadian one.
Yep.
Like all those things you were reading out on the label, we can't put that on
Oh,
any other label.
wait, it's not on the label. It's not on the label. Oh, wait, it is.
Yeah. Because Health Canada, part of the NPN approval process, they tell us everything on that label is what Health Canada has told us to put on the label.
But there's only like, there's not all 42 on here on this label.
It's a peel back. If you peel it back down at the bottom.
Peel it back.
Yeah, because Health Canada made us put so much text that we could not fit it on the front label.
Look at this. Oh yeah, okay, there it is. There it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But those are like health claims. Those are illegal in every other country, but Health Canada makes us put it on the Canadian version. So there's all kinds of, you know, regulations that you have to.
But people don't know that. People don't know that. And what's great is that, you know, it just talks, I don't know. It's important to me to know little pieces and details like that. I love it.
I know.
Well, I don't know. All I can say is I'm super grateful. I'm so grateful that you made this product, and I know you did it through your own pain. And I think that's the most powerful thing for me is when I take this product, and I'm not just because, you know, we're friends. It really is true. I think this is an interesting testimony to why this is so amazing, because my dog Nymeria, you know that she got really sick when she was a little puppy, and took her to the vet, and the doctor said, well, you know, she's not eating, she's not drinking, but we're going to have to do surgery. She has a bowel obstruction. And I was like, really? And so I looked at the x-ray and could barely see anything there. And I thought, man, that's not right. But anyway, I took Nymeria back home, and we all looked at her, and I said, Nymeria, you've got to heal your body. You've got to heal yourself. And I gave her Absorb Plus, and she drank it. She wouldn't drink water, nothing. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. And I told you, and you were like, she's what?
Yeah.
That's how you know something's great, is that, you know, animals are the most sensitive beings. Yes. And when we interact with them on that level, they really show us, hey, this is good. If I'm going to eat this, you know, I mean, I treat her the way I treat my children and myself. You know, she's raw fed, it's all good. But I tell you, it healed her body, and she only wanted to drink a small amount of Absorb Plus, and we nursed her back to health over a period of 3 days. And that's literally all she drank. It was just enough to absolutely change her body. And it gave her what she needed just for a little bit. And then it was amazing.
It's the wisdom of animals who, now let's point out the fact that your dog is fed raw. Yes. So she is fed her native natural diet. She is not a kibble-fed, processed food, chemical-fed dog who then loses body wisdom because they're you know, let's not go there. Right. But she's fed. So the same thing happens with my horses, right? Who are at liberty in a huge pasture. They have their own herd. They have a very natural life. And I do this with them all the time. And, you know, even just letting them smell, do you want this wild oregano? Yes.
Right.
Or no, and they walk away. I did an experiment with cranberries because one of the mares showed me she was having difficulty peeing. So we thought, oh, maybe cranberries for her, you know.
Urine, yeah.
Exactly, for her bladder. And I had a bag of organic, and then I had a bag of conventional because they didn't have any more organic left. So I thought, well, maybe she just needs it, so I'll bring both. I put the organic in the feed dish first. Turns out she didn't want it, but 2 other of the horses, out of the 11 horses, 9 of them didn't want it. 2 of them were hoovering it like their life depend. And they were tart. They weren't, if they were after the sugar, all the horses would have eaten it.
Right.
They needed something in those cranberries.
Interesting.
And they just scarfed it. And the other ones would bite and spit it out.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have it. And then I go and I slip open the conventional bag and I put it in. They won't touch it.
Yeah.
They spat it out. So then again, it's like, if they can tell just by putting it in, what are we doing to our food? Like, what has been done to those conventional cranberries?
What are we, and think about it. What are we doing to our food that we're eating? What are we doing to our food that our animals are eating? It's got, there's a waxy substance on those conventional ones that is different than the organic. And I think that's why I don't see us changing from drinking this every morning. The fact that we're drinking it every morning is amazing because there's something there of value that resets you for the day. It's just, it's like it gives you what you need. And then, when Nymeria is, going to have surgery, she did not have surgery. I said to her, however you got that in there, get it out. And we gave her an enema. We did some stuff. By 8 o'clock that morning, she was bouncing around the yard. She was all good. Never went in. But the fact that she wanted to drink this Absorb Plus, I mean, I was making the shake in the morning and I had 3 containers, one for Tate, Saley, and myself. She came and sat right beside me and looked at me with that look of like, are you paying attention? I was like, you want me to pet you? No, look at me. And I went, you want some of this? And she just started drooling. And I thought, what?
Right.
It's amazing. And so I don't recommend everybody do it, of course, but you have to feel into it. But it's just a testimony of intention and really knowing what is good for your body and what isn't, and that it helps reset. It helps the body heal in the most amazing way.
Yeah, and just that ongoing, like what I'm formulating right now, I'm calling it multi-absorb. I'm pulling out the vitamins and minerals from Absorb Plus and making those available as a standalone supplement.
Wow.
So let's say you're someone who, doesn't like shakes in the morning.
Right.
Well, you can either have this, and I'm packaging it in capsule form, so you can swallow the capsules, or in a stick pack. So you just rip it off and dump it in your smoothie. Because maybe you like a raw green smoothie in the morning. You don't want a protein. You just want the veggies. Well, you can rip off the stick pack, dump in the multi-absorb. You have all of those vitamins, minerals, and key amino acids in whichever form you want to take it. And that's what I've been testing that myself. And it's that same, wow, this feels really good.
Well, I can't wait to have some.
Yes.
I got to see you first.
Exactly.
I got to see you first. But yeah, I mean, see, and that's the other, and that goes back to that thing that I've been saying this whole conversation. It's how the intention and how you are putting intention into this product that makes it what it is. We've heard how you move around and what you do and the quality and the way you source out your ingredients. And I think that's part of why this is so amazing. And then of course it's divinely inspired, which you can't really go wrong when that happens.
Yes, exactly. And it's a difference, as you pointed out, it's a huge difference when you're creating something that you, your children, your best friends, are going to use versus some commercial product for customer X out there.
Right. Well, thank you, Jeannie. I appreciate it. And I'm glad that you were able to have this conversation with me today. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful discussion.